So today we're going to talk about a technique called Australian lace. It's used with royal icing. It's a hard drying method, dries overnight, but makes some really beautiful, delicate things. So we need some scissors, we need a number 104 writer, definitely a pencil, your spatula, and some odd household items. These are the center of a paper towel roll. You can see I've used them many times for this process. And this is a box edge that we're going to use to shape our butterflies, which you're going to be working on today. I've got a regular pastry bag. You can use plastic, you can use parchment, and then I've also got some parchment here. Also, wax paper is a good use for this. So I'm just using this white pedestal so you can see a little better. What I've got here is a parchment rectangle or square, and you can see that I have the outline of a butterfly here. I'm going to quickly show you how to do that. You can definitely trace one if you can find one in a coloring book or whatever, but if you're a little bit artistic, you can do it yourself, and let me show you how to get even sides. Okay, so for this we're going to fold our little square in half just so that we have nice even sides to our butterfly. Want to open it back up and give yourself some wings. You want the top to be a little larger than the bottom. So pretty simple. If I come back in and make that a little bit darker, we can just fold that right over and give it a little rub and make a transfer. It's probably going to be real hard to see on camera, but I've got my basic shape. And I can just retrace that. So I've got nice even wings to my butterfly. Now the trick with Australian lace is that it all needs to be touching. It needs to be nice and stable for it to hold up when it dries. So we're going to need a design inside that each piece touches the next. So I'm just going to use a nice S shape and fill that right in. So I want to show the consistency of the royal icing. Royal icing is a very simple recipe: egg whites, powdered sugar, and a little lemon juice. Holds up nicely and it dries, but it's very, very stiff. So I wanted you to kind of get an idea of exactly how stiff. Couple of quick tips. You don't want to overfill your bag. Even this may be a little too much. This is really hard on your hands, so you use a small amount in the bag. Also, guys, remember, hold it at a 45-degree angle with nice guidance. For this, we want to put just a little dab down on the surface which we're working and hold our paper down. We want a nice flat paper. We're going to start with the outside edge of our butterfly, and we're going to use a drop technique. Touch, pull a string, see how I'm away from my paper, let it drop, and touch again. I'm going to drop again, touch, squeeze and pull, let it drop, and guide lightly. So we're making a nice framework. So inside, I'm going to fill in with these nice little S shapes. Also, I'm using a drop technique. Make sure that they touch the sides and touch each other. That'll give your butterfly stability. See here where it didn't touch? I can give it just a little dot. Any pretty design that you wish, you can use inside, as long as your lines are connected. Okay, so I want to give my butterfly a body. Just a nice round ball for the head. cylinder for the body and some dots for the tail. Again, make sure they're connected. Okay, so here's the use for the corner of our box. You can see it has a nice angle on it. This is how we're going to get our butterfly wings to stand up. You want to put a little dot of icing inside to hold it down. And then we very carefully move our butterfly into this little cradle we've created. Now that needs to dry overnight. If you're in a very, very dry climate, may dry in 4 or 5, 6 hours. If you're in a wet climate or it's winter, raining, it may take 2 days. So the drier the better. So Australian lace is used for many, many applications. Very many lacy things that hang off of the edges of cakes, stick out from the side. It's definitely a three-dimensional thing. So you can use basically any kind of shape, any kind of pattern. I'm just going to show an S-shape pattern that I use often. It's a nice stand-up. You can see that the top is a little bigger than the bottom. We're going to give it a line across. This piece can be used this way on a cake. It can stand up this way. It can also lay down. Many, many uses. Okay, this is a more complicated drop technique, but we're going to give it a nice ball there. Lift and guide. Okay, so we can actually go on. This can be used just this way, or we can embellish. So I'm going to use just my reverse shell technique and add a little extra here around the side and on the top. So this one can be used at any stage of the design. It can be used at the basic design, or you can see that I added on many layers. So to finish up the royal icing, we need to peel it off the parchment, and now we have our beautiful butterfly. You need to make lots of these because they do tend to break. I'm going to go ahead and mount it on my flower here. And there you have it, beautiful Australian lace butterfly.